Welcome back to our channel World of Coins, the place where we uncover hidden treasures in your coin collection. Have you ever wondered if that old coins could be worth thousands or even millions? Well, today's your lucky day. We're diving into some of the rarest and most valuable U.S. coins that might be sitting right under your nose. Let's jump in and see if you've got a fortune waiting to be discovered. Top 1. In 1991, a small, unassuming coin was circulating across America. It was a coin you probably used without thinking twice, perhaps for a snack from a vending machine, or as spare change when buying a cup of coffee. It was the 1991 Jefferson nickel, a simple 5-cent coin that seemed like just another everyday item. But what if I told you that this very coin, in the right condition or with the right rare error, could be worth far more than 5 cents? In fact, some 1991 Jefferson nickels have been known to fetch as much as $60,000 or more in today's coin market. Surprised? Well, let me take you through the fascinating journey of how this humble nickel became a highly valuable piece of American numismatic history. To understand the 1991 Jefferson nickel, we need to first take a step back and appreciate the coin's legacy. The Jefferson nickel, featuring Thomas Jefferson, the third President of the United States, has been in circulation since 1938. Jefferson was chosen for the coin because of his significant contributions to the founding of the United States, especially his role in writing the Declaration of Independence and his time as president during the Louisiana Purchase. His image on the nickel is an iconic representation of American history. On the reverse of the coin, you'll find Monticello, the plantation home designed by Jefferson himself, reflecting his love of architecture and his role in shaping the country's cultural heritage. The design of the Jefferson nickel has undergone only a few changes over the years, but in 1991, it was part of a series of coins that were part of the regular minting process. The 1991 nickel, like most others, featured a familiar portrait of Jefferson on the obverse, and Monticello on the reverse. The coin was minted in both the Philadelphia and Denver mints, and a small number of them were produced in the San Francisco Mint for proof sets. The coin was made primarily of a copper-nickel alloy and weighed 5 grams, with a diameter of 21.2 millimeters, which is standard for U.S. nickels. For most people, the 1991 Jefferson nickel wouldn't stand out as anything special. But what makes this coin interesting is that, over the years, collectors have discovered that some of these 1991 nickels contain unique errors or variations that have made them incredibly valuable. Coin collectors, also known as numismatists, are always on the lookout for rare and unusual coins, and the 1991 Jefferson nickel is no exception. Among these rare coins, there is a particular variety that has drawn attention: the 1991 nickel with the D/D mintmark error. The D/D error is exactly what it sounds like: a minting mistake where the mintmark, D for Denver, was stamped twice, resulting in 2 overlapping D marks on the coin. This error happened because the coin was struck by a die that already had a D mintmark, and then, due to a mistake in the production process, the die was used again to strike the coin, leaving a second mintmark right on top of the first one. While this kind of error is rare, it is exactly what collectors hope to find. The result is a unique coin that tells the story of a mistake during the minting process, making it a one-of-a-kind piece that has a special appeal to numismatists. The D/D mintmark variety of the 1991 Jefferson nickel is one of the most valuable versions of the coin. Because these error coins are so rare, they are often worth far more than their face value. Depending on the condition of the coin, a 1991 D/D nickel could be worth anywhere from a few $100s to as much as $60,000 or more. The value of these coins depends on factors such as the clarity of the mintmark, the overall condition of the coin, and its rarity. Some of the best examples of this rare error have been sold at auction for astronomical prices, cementing their place as highly sought-after items in the world of coin collecting. But what makes the 1991 Jefferson nickel with the D/D error so desirable to collectors? It's not just the rarity of the mistake, but the story behind it. For coin collectors, errors like the D/D are incredibly exciting because they represent a piece of history, a mistake that happened at the U.S. Mint during the coin's production. These kinds of errors make the coin unique, and in the world of numismatics, rarity is the key to value. The more rare and unusual a coin is, the more valuable it becomes. And the 1991 D/D nickel is about as rare as they come, but how do you know if you have one of these rare coins in your collection or pocket change? The first thing to look for is the mint mark, the letter D that indicates the coin was minted in Denver. If you look closely at the mint mark on a 1991 nickel and notice that it appears doubled, with one D on top of the other, you could have found one of these valuable error coins. It's important to inspect the coin carefully, as the double mint mark may not always be immediately obvious. The second D might be slightly offset or barely noticeable, so examining the coin under magnification is a good idea. The condition of the coin is another factor that determines its value. Like all coins, a 1991 D/D nickel in excellent condition will be worth much more than one that has been heavily worn or damaged. Coins that are in uncirculated condition, meaning they have never been used in circulation, are especially valuable, as they have maintained their original details and luster. If you think you might have a 1991 D/D nickel, it's a good idea to have it professionally graded by a reputable coin grading service to determine its value and condition. While the 1991 Jefferson nickel with the D/D error is one of the most famous and valuable versions of the coin, it's not the only reason why the 1991 nickel is appealing to collectors. The Jefferson nickel, in general, has always been a popular coin among numismatists because of its design and historical significance. The image of Thomas Jefferson, along with the depiction of Monticello, symbolizes the foundation of the United States, and for many collectors, owning a well-preserved example of the Jefferson nickel is a way of owning a small piece of American history. As time goes on, the value of certain coins, especially those with rare errors or unique characteristics, continues to rise. The 1991 Jefferson nickel with the D/D mint mark error is a perfect example of how a small mistake during the minting process can create a coin that's worth far more than its original face value. For those lucky enough to own one of these rare coins, the discovery can be life-changing, but even if you don't have one of these rare nickels sitting in your pocket, it's still worth keeping an eye out for unusual coins. Numismatics is a fascinating hobby that can lead to some surprising discoveries, and the thrill of the hunt is part of what makes coin collecting so exciting. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just starting out, learning about the unique and valuable coins in circulation can be a rewarding experience. So, the next time you grab some change or dig through an old coin jar, take a closer look at the Jefferson nickels you find. Who knows? You might just discover a rare treasure worth far more than 5 cents. The 1991 D/D nickel is a reminder that sometimes, the most valuable things come in the smallest packages. A simple coin, a tiny error, and the potential for an extraordinary payoff. This is the world of coin collecting, and the 1991 Jefferson nickel is a perfect example of how a little piece of history can lead to something far greater than expected. Keep an eye out for these rare finds, and you might just strike it rich. Top 2. In 1990, a small coin made its way through the wallets, change purses, and cash registers of millions of Americans. It was the Jefferson nickel, a humble 5-cent piece, carrying the likeness of Thomas Jefferson on one side and his Virginia home, Monticello, on the other. This coin, like many others, would have seemed like just another everyday object, traded for goods, slipped into vending machines, or tossed into change jars. But little did anyone know at the time, that this seemingly ordinary coin, minted by the United States Mint, was going to hold the potential to be worth far more than just 5 cents. Today, certain 1990 Jefferson nickels have been sold for as much as $65,000, turning them into rare treasures sought after by collectors around the world. To understand the allure of the 1990 Jefferson nickel, we first need to dive into its historical context. The Jefferson nickel itself has a storied history. Since 1938, it has featured the portrait of Thomas Jefferson, one of the founding fathers and the third president of the United States. Jefferson was chosen to appear on the coin due to his pivotal role in American history, most notably for drafting the Declaration of Independence and his leadership during the Louisiana Purchase. The reverse of the coin traditionally depicted Jefferson's plantation home, Monticello, as a symbol of his life and legacy. In 1990, the design of the Jefferson nickel remained the same as it had been for decades, Jefferson's portrait on the obverse and the view of Monticello on the reverse. The coin was struck primarily in copper-nickel alloy, with each coin weighing 5 grams and having a diameter of 21.2 millimeters, which was standard for all Jefferson nickels produced at the time. It was a simple design, but it carried with it a deep connection to American history. It was, in essence, a tiny snapshot of the nation's past, circulating freely across the country. Despite the fact that millions of these 1990 nickels were produced and widely distributed, they were not all created equally. In the world of numismatics, which is the study and collection of coins, it's the subtle differences in design, minting errors, or rare variants that transform an otherwise common coin into something of extraordinary value. For the 1990 Jefferson nickel, the key to its value lies in certain rare and error varieties that were struck during the minting process. One of the most famous and sought-after varieties of the 1990 Jefferson nickel is the 1990 D/D mintmark error. What does that mean? It refers to an error made at the U.S. Mint when a die was improperly prepared. When the die was used to strike coins, it was double-stamped with the D mintmark, the letter indicating the coin was minted in Denver, leading to an overlapping mintmark. This resulted in a coin that features two D mintmarks, one slightly offset from the other. This error coin is rare, and due to its scarcity, it has become a treasure among collectors. You might be wondering why such an error is valuable. The answer lies in the rarity and the demand for these unique coins. In coin collecting, rarity is key. The more scarce a coin is, the higher its value becomes. Minting errors are often seen as an opportunity for collectors to own something truly one-of-a-kind. In the case of the 1990 D/D nickel, there are far fewer of these error coins in circulation than the standard 1990 Jefferson nickels, which means that if you find one, you could be holding a coin that's worth thousands of dollars, sometimes up to $65,000, depending on the condition and the clarity of the mintmark. But how can you tell if you have one of these rare error coins in your collection? It all comes down to the mintmark on the reverse of the coin. On a normal 1990 Jefferson nickel, the mintmark is clear, a single D indicating it was minted in Denver. However, if you closely examine the coin and notice that the D appears doubled or that a second D is visible slightly to the side of the first one, you may have discovered the D/D mintmark error. Inspecting your coin is key to identifying whether it has this error. You'll want to look at the mintmark under magnification to see the double stamp clearly. The value of these error coins depends largely on how clearly the mintmarks are visible, as well as the overall condition of the coin. A coin with a well-defined D/D mintmark and minimal wear could be worth a significant amount, while coins with less distinct errors or more damage will fetch a lower price. The condition of the coin plays a big role in its value. Coins that are well preserved and have remained in pristine condition are worth far more than those that have been worn down through years of circulation. In coin collecting, this is referred to as the coin's grade, and it's determined by factors such as the sharpness of the design, the level of wear on the coin, and how well it has been preserved over time. The higher the grade, the more valuable the coin becomes. Uncirculated 1990 D/D nickels in perfect condition are the most valuable, often fetching tens of thousands of dollars, while the D/D mintmark error is one of the most famous and valuable varieties of the 1990 Jefferson nickel. It's not the only reason collectors are interested in this coin. The 1990 nickel, like many others, is also popular among collectors due to its design and connection to American history. The portrait of Thomas Jefferson and the image of Monticello have remained relatively unchanged for decades, giving the coin a timeless quality. For numismatists, the 1990 Jefferson nickel represents not just a piece of American currency but a small, tangible connection to the nation's past. Even if you don't find a 1990 D/D mintmark error, the Jefferson nickel itself has a certain appeal. Jefferson's image is a familiar symbol of American freedom and independence, and for collectors, owning a Jefferson nickel is like owning a piece of the country's legacy. Additionally, the coin's design, with its elegant portrait of Jefferson and the classic view of Monticello, is appreciated for its aesthetic simplicity and historical significance. The 1990 Jefferson nickel, though it might have been just another coin used for small transactions when it was first minted, has since become a valuable piece of numismatic history. The discovery of the rare D/D error has made it even more desirable, and as time goes on, more and more collectors are recognizing the potential value of these coins. In fact, some of the highest graded 1990 D/D nickels have sold for prices that most people would never expect from a coin that was once worth just 5 cents. If you're a collector or someone who's simply interested in the possibility of finding a rare and valuable coin, it's worth checking through your spare change or digging through old coin jars. You might just find a 1990 Jefferson nickel that's more valuable than you could have ever imagined. The thrill of discovering a coin with a rare error or unique feature is part of what makes coin collecting so exciting, and the 1990 Jefferson nickel with its D/D mintmark error is a prime example of how something as simple as a small mistake during minting can lead to a coin with a big price tag. So, next time you hold a 1990 Jefferson nickel in your hand, take a moment to appreciate its history and the possibility that you might be holding a rare treasure. Who knows? You might just have a coin worth far more than 5 cents. With the right eye for detail, patience, and some luck, you could have discovered something worth up to $65,000. The 1990 Jefferson nickel is more than just a piece of change, it's a reminder of how small moments in history can lead to big rewards. Top 3. In 1993, a small coin, often unnoticed in the pockets and purses of Americans, continued its journey through everyday transactions. It was a simple 5-cent piece, the Jefferson nickel. For most people, it was just another piece of pocket change, used to make up the difference in a transaction or tossed into a coin jar. However, unbeknownst to many, this seemingly ordinary coin would become the subject of intense interest for collectors and numismatists alike. Some 1993 Jefferson nickels, with rare minting errors or special characteristics, have been known to fetch up to $52,000 or more. It's a fascinating story of how a simple nickel can become a valuable treasure, and today, I'm going to take you through that journey. The Jefferson nickel, which has been in circulation since 1938, has had a long and storied history. The coin features the profile of Thomas Jefferson, the third President of the United States, who played a crucial role in the founding of the nation. Jefferson is best known for writing the Declaration of Independence and for overseeing the Louisiana Purchase, which greatly expanded the United States in the early 19th century. His legacy as one of the most influential figures in American history made him a natural choice to appear on this coin. On the reverse side of the nickel, you'll find Monticello, Jefferson's plantation home in Virginia, symbolizing his contributions to architecture and his life as a landowner. By the time the 1993 Jefferson nickel was minted, the design had remained largely unchanged for decades. The coin's design was simple and elegant, but it carried deep historical significance. The image of Jefferson on the obverse and Monticello on the reverse served as a reminder of the country's roots, its founders, and the importance of preserving history. This coin, like others before it, was struck at the United States Mint and distributed across the nation, being used in daily transactions from one side of the country to the other. While most of the 1993 Jefferson nickels were produced and circulated in large quantities, it's the rarer, unique examples that have captured the attention of collectors. As with any coin, it's not just the design that makes some of these nickels valuable, but also the differences in their production and minting process. Coin collectors, also known as numismatists, are constantly on the lookout for errors, rare varieties, and unique features that set a coin apart from the rest. And in the case of the 1993 Jefferson nickel, there are a few key factors that have turned this coin into a sought-after treasure. One of the most valuable varieties of the 1993 Jefferson nickel is the no mintmark error coin. Normally, the mintmark on a Jefferson nickel appears on the reverse side, just below the word Monticello, indicating which U.S. mint facility produced the coin. Coins minted in Denver carry a D mintmark, while those produced in Philadelphia do not have a mintmark at all. However, in 1993, a small number of Jefferson nickels were produced without any mintmark at all, even though they were struck in Denver. This unusual minting error occurred because a batch of coins was produced without the D die being properly used in the minting process. This error, while seemingly small, is highly sought after by collectors. The absence of the mintmark makes the coin rare, and rarity is one of the key factors that drives up the value of a coin. When a coin is struck without its intended mintmark, it creates an anomaly, which is exactly what makes it so attractive to numismatists. Over time, These, no mintmark, 1993 Jefferson nickels have become increasingly difficult to find, which only adds to their desirability and value. Some of the highest quality examples of this coin have sold for upwards of $52,000, depending on their condition and rarity. If you're wondering how to spot one of these rare, no mintmark error coins, the process is fairly straightforward. Simply examine the reverse side of the nickel, just below Monticello, where you would typically find the mintmark. If the space is completely blank, you may have discovered a valuable treasure. It's important to inspect the coin carefully under magnification to make sure that the mintmark is truly absent and not simply worn down or obscured. The more well-preserved the coin, the more valuable it is, so it's always a good idea to keep your eyes peeled for coins that are in excellent condition. Another factor that can contribute to the value of a 1993 Jefferson nickel is the overall quality of the coin. Coins that are in mint condition, meaning they have never been circulated and show no signs of wear, are generally worth more than coins that have been used in everyday transactions. The condition of a coin is graded on a scale from poor to mint state, with coins in mint state being the most valuable. The higher the grade, the more sought after the coin is by collectors. In addition to the no mintmark error, some 1993 Jefferson nickels also feature other types of minting anomalies that can make them more valuable. For example, some coins may have been struck off-center, meaning that the design on the coin is misaligned. Other coins might have a double die error, where the design is stamped twice, creating a blurry or overlapping image. These errors, while less common, can also increase the value of the coin significantly, depending on their severity and rarity. Now, you might be wondering why these errors are so valuable in the first place. After all, they may seem like imperfections, and you might think that a mistake during the minting process would decrease the coin's value. However, in the world of coin collecting, errors are actually prized because they are unique. A coin that has a minting error tells a story of the production process, a glimpse into a mistake made at the U.S. Mint. It's a piece of history, and for collectors, that's exactly what makes these coins so special. The more unusual the error, the more valuable the coin can become. The 1993 Jefferson nickel is a perfect example of how a simple, everyday coin can become a rare and valuable piece of history. What once seemed like a small, insignificant coin is now highly coveted by collectors who are eager to find one of these error coins or rare varieties. The potential to discover a coin worth thousands of dollars is part of the thrill of coin collecting, and the 1993 Jefferson nickel is one of those coins that holds that possibility. For those of you who might have a collection of coins at home, it's worth taking the time to check your nickels, especially the ones from 1993. You might have a rare, valuable coin in your possession without even realizing it. If you find a 1993 nickel without a mint mark or a coin with a noticeable error, it could be worth far more than its face value. Even if you don't have one of these rare coins, it's still an exciting journey to explore the world of coin collecting, as you never know when the next treasure might turn up. So, the next time you find a 1993 Jefferson nickel in your pocket or collection, take a moment to appreciate it. It might just be more than just a 5-cent piece, it could be a rare gem worth a small fortune. In the world of coin collecting, every coin tells a story, and the 1993 Jefferson nickel is no exception. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just beginning to dip your toes into the world of numismatics, keep an eye out for those rare finds, because you never know what you might discover. Top 4. In 1994, millions of small, unassuming coins entered circulation in the United States, destined to pass through the hands of everyday Americans. These coins were the familiar Jefferson nickels, each worth just 5 cents, but what most people didn't realize at the time was that some of these ordinary nickels would go on to become highly coveted collectibles, worth far more than their face value. Today, certain 1994 Jefferson nickels are valued at up to $47,000, making them some of the most sought-after coins among collectors and numismatists. The Jefferson nickel itself has a long and rich history. It was first introduced in 1938, replacing the Buffalo nickel. Designed by Felix Schlag, the coin features a portrait of Thomas Jefferson, the third President of the United States, on the obverse. Jefferson is widely recognized for his role in drafting the Declaration of Independence, his leadership during the American Revolution, and his vision for the nation as the architect of the Louisiana Purchase, which doubled the size of the country. His legacy is forever etched in history, and his likeness on the Jefferson nickel makes this coin more than just currency, it's a tribute to one of America's founding fathers. On the reverse side of the coin, you'll find a depiction of Monticello, Jefferson's estate in Virginia, which was not only his home but also a place of learning and reflection. Monticello symbolizes Jefferson's love of knowledge and his contributions to architecture and science. This timeless design remained unchanged for decades, and in 1994, it continued to adorn the Jefferson nickel, which was minted in both Philadelphia and Denver. While millions of these 1994 Jefferson nickels were produced and spent in regular transactions, there were some coins struck during the year that became rare due to unique characteristics or errors made during the minting process. And as with any rare or unusual coin, it is these anomalies that give the coin its value and appeal in the world of coin collecting. One of the main reasons certain 1994 Jefferson nickels are now worth so much is because of specific minting errors. The world of numismatics, or coin collecting, is filled with enthusiasts who are on the lookout for coins that have been struck with unusual flaws or characteristics. These errors can be anything from a double-struck design to off-center strikes or even misplaced mint marks. Such errors make a coin far rarer, and rarity is one of the key factors that increases its value. A 1994 Jefferson nickel with the right error can be worth thousands, and in some cases, as much as $47,000. One particularly rare variety of the 1994 Jefferson nickel is the no mint mark error. Typically, coins minted at the Denver Mint are marked with a D mint mark, and coins struck at the Philadelphia Mint are left without a mint mark. However, a small number of 1994 Jefferson nickels were struck in Denver but lacked the D mint mark altogether, which is highly unusual. This error was likely caused by a mistake at the mint, where the die that was used to strike the coins failed to include the D mint mark. Even though the coins were being produced at the Denver Mint, coins with this error are particularly rare, and this rarity makes them highly desirable among collectors. The more scarce the coin, the higher its value becomes. Collectors understand that finding a 1994 Jefferson nickel without a mint mark is like stumbling upon a hidden gem in a sea of ordinary coins. The value of these error coins can range dramatically based on the condition and grade of the coin, but some have been sold for as much as $47,000, especially if they are in pristine condition. But how do you spot one of these rare 1994, no mint mark, coins? It's simple, really, just take a close look at the reverse side of the coin, right below Monticello, where the mint mark usually appears. Normally, you would see a small D if the coin was struck in Denver. However, on this error variety, that mint mark is entirely absent. If you happen to come across a 1994 Jefferson nickel that has no mint mark, you may have just discovered a valuable coin. The condition of the coin also plays a huge role in determining its value. Coins that are in excellent condition, with minimal wear and tear, are significantly more valuable than those that have been heavily circulated. Coin collectors use a grading system to determine the quality of a coin, and coins that are graded higher tend to fetch higher prices. A 1994 Jefferson nickel with no mint mark, but in uncirculated or mint state condition, could easily command a price in the thousands, depending on its clarity and preservation. In addition to the no mint mark error, other types of minting errors can also make a 1994 Jefferson nickel more valuable. For example, some coins may have been struck off-center, meaning that the design is not perfectly aligned with the edges of the coin. This can create an interesting visual effect, and for collectors, it adds to the uniqueness of the coin. Other errors may include double die varieties, where the design has been struck multiple times, creating a blurry or overlapping image. These types of errors, while not as common, are highly sought after by collectors and can greatly increase the value of the coin. To a casual observer, these minting errors might seem like flaws, but to a coin collector, they are the very things that make a coin interesting and valuable. Coins with unusual characteristics or mistakes are prized because they represent a rare moment in the production process, a mistake that resulted in something extraordinary. It's these kinds of coins that numismatists cherish and go to great lengths to obtain. The 1994 Jefferson nickel, with its rare minting errors, is one of those coins that if you're a collector, or even if you're simply someone interested in the possibility of discovering rare coins, the 1994 Jefferson nickel is definitely one to watch out for. Whether you're digging through old coin jars or examining your pocket change, it's worth taking the time to inspect your nickels. Who knows? You could be holding a rare coin worth thousands of dollars without even knowing it. For many people, coin collecting is about the thrill of the hunt, the excitement of finding a rare coin, of unearthing something valuable hidden in plain sight. The 1994 Jefferson nickel, especially the no mintmark era variety, is a prime example of how a seemingly ordinary coin can turn into a prized possession. In the world of coin collecting, it's not always the most famous or flashy coins that are worth the most. Sometimes it's the simple coins like the 1994 Jefferson nickel, that carry hidden value. The value of these rare 1994 Jefferson nickels is a testament to the intricacies of coin collecting and the importance of paying attention to detail. What began as a humble 5-cent piece has become an important part of numismatic history. With its striking design, rich historical connection to Thomas Jefferson, and the unique errors that make some of these coins valuable, the 1994 Jefferson nickel continues to captivate collectors and coin enthusiasts around the world. So, next time you hold a 1994 Jefferson nickel, take a moment to appreciate it. It may not seem like much at first glance, but there's more to this coin than meets the eye. From its historical significance to the potential for finding rare and valuable minting errors, the 1994 Jefferson nickel is more than just a piece of change. It's a reminder that in the world of coin collecting, anything can become a treasure with a little bit of luck, knowledge, and attention to detail. If you find a 1994 nickel without a mint mark or with an unusual minting error, you could be holding a coin worth far more than 5 cents. The possibilities are endless, and for collectors, that's what makes the world of coins so exciting. Whether you're looking for a rare coin to add to your collection or simply enjoying the thrill of the hunt, the 1994 Jefferson nickel is a coin that's definitely worth keeping an eye out for. Top 5. In the year 2000, something interesting happened in the world of coins, and it's something that not many people were aware of at the time. Among the millions of coins circulating in everyday transactions, there was one particular nickel that was quietly catching the attention of coin collectors and numismatists. It was the 2000 Jefferson nickel, a coin that many people might have brushed off as just another nickel in their pocket change, but for some collectors, it became a treasure worth thousands of dollars. Today, we're going to take a deep dive into this coin, exploring its history, design, production, and the key factors that make certain 2000 Jefferson nickels incredibly valuable, with some even worth up to $40,000. The Jefferson nickel, which has been in circulation since 1938, features the iconic portrait of Thomas Jefferson, one of the most important figures in American history. Jefferson, the third President of the United States, is known for his role in drafting the Declaration of Independence and for overseeing the Louisiana Purchase, which doubled the size of the nation. His image, which first appeared on the nickel in 1938, was meant to honor his contributions to the birth and growth of the United States. On the reverse side of the coin is a depiction of Monticello, Jefferson's plantation home in Virginia. Monticello is not just a house, it represents Jefferson's legacy as an architect, his love of knowledge, and his life as a landowner. This image of Monticello has become synonymous with Jefferson's name, and for decades, it's been a consistent feature on the Jefferson nickel. By the time 2000 rolled around, the design of the Jefferson nickel had been around for over 60 years. While it had undergone some minor adjustments over time, the overall look and feel of the coin remained largely unchanged. The 2000 Jefferson nickel was part of the regular production run, and like its predecessors, it was struck at the U.S. Mint and distributed across the country, where it was used to make small transactions and, for many, was just another piece of pocket change. However, as is often the case in the world of numismatics, there was something special about some of the 2000 Jefferson nickels that would later capture the attention of collectors. It's important to understand that, in the world of coin collecting, there's more to a coin's value than just its design. The value of a coin often depends on its rarity, its condition, and, sometimes, unique characteristics that make it stand out from the rest. And that's exactly what happened with some of the 2000 Jefferson nickels. One of the most notable reasons why certain 2000 Jefferson nickels are now worth so much is because of a unique error that occurred during the minting process. Errors in the production of coins, while not necessarily common, do happen from time to time, and when they do, they often make the affected coins more valuable. The 2000 Jefferson nickel, in particular, had a very specific minting error that has made certain examples incredibly rare and desirable among collectors. One of the key errors that collectors have been on the lookout for is the wide M error. This particular error occurred during the production of the 2000 Jefferson nickel, and it involves the spacing between the letters A and M in the word America on the reverse side of the coin. Normally, these two letters are spaced very close together, but on certain coins, the spacing was much wider than usual. This error, though seemingly small, is significant because it's not something that can be found on every 2000 Jefferson nickel, making it a rarity. Collectors and numismatists understand that rarity is one of the most important factors when it comes to determining the value of a coin. When a coin has an error like this, it becomes a one-of-a-kind or low mintage piece, meaning that not many were made with the same flaw. In this case, the wide M 2000 Jefferson nickel has become a sought-after collector's item, with some examples selling for as much as $40,000, depending on their condition. The rarity of this error, combined with the popularity of the Jefferson nickel design, makes it one of the most valuable coins of its kind from the year 2000. So, how can you spot one of these rare, wide M 2000 Jefferson nickels? It's relatively simple. Just take a look at the reverse side of the coin, where the word America is prominently displayed. Using magnification or a keen eye, you'll want to examine the space between the A and M in the word America. If the gap between the two letters is noticeably wider than on other nickels, you could have found one of these highly valuable error coins. As with any collectible coin, the condition of the 2000 Jefferson nickel plays a major role in determining its value. Coins that have been circulated and show signs of wear will generally be worth less than coins that have been kept in excellent condition. The value of a coin increases with its grade, which is determined by the degree of wear it has experienced. Coins in mint condition, or those that have never been circulated, tend to fetch the highest prices. If you happen to have a 2000 Jefferson nickel in perfect or near perfect condition, particularly one with the wide M error, your coin could be worth a significant amount. In addition to the wide M error, some 2000 Jefferson nickels also have other types of errors or unique characteristics that could increase their value. For example, some coins may have been struck off-center, meaning that the design is not perfectly aligned with the edges of the coin. This can create an interesting and unique visual effect that appeals to collectors. Other errors, such as double dies or die cracks, can also add to a coin's value, depending on how rare and noticeable they are. If you're a collector, or even just someone who is curious about the potential value of your coins, it's worth checking your 2000 Jefferson nickels for any signs of errors or unique characteristics. While the majority of these coins are worth only 5 cents, the rare examples with minting errors can be worth thousands. In fact, the excitement and thrill of discovering a rare coin like this is one of the reasons why coin collecting is such a popular hobby. It's the idea that, in a sea of ordinary coins, there might be one that holds immense value. The 2000 Jefferson nickel is a perfect example of how a coin, once considered nothing more than pocket change, can become a rare and valuable item over time. With its simple design, historical significance, and potential for rare minting errors, it's no wonder that certain 2000 Jefferson nickels are worth up to $40,000 or more. For collectors, finding one of these error coins is like striking gold. It's a treasure that can bring excitement, pride, and a significant financial reward. So, if you've ever wondered if there's more to a coin than just its face value, the 2000 Jefferson nickel is a great example of how even the most ordinary coins can turn into something extraordinary. Whether you're a seasoned coin collector or just getting started, the hunt for rare and valuable coins is always full of surprises. Who knows? The next time you find a 2000 Jefferson nickel in your change, you could be holding a rare, high-value coin worth thousands of dollars. It's a reminder that in the world of coin collecting, even the smallest coins can pack a big punch when it comes to value and history.